What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another football manager related video. Because of the time of the year, we are towards the end of August. Almost all of the series are over on my channel, and we start to look forward to FM22. Now, obviously, Sports Interactive aren't going to release the game for another few months yet, but now my attention has slowly started to turn onto the new game and what sort of features or things I would like to see implemented moving things forward into next year's iteration of the game. Today, I'm going to break down 5 of those things for you. The main 5 things that I'd kind of like to see. Obviously, there's stuff that we like to see improving year on year, like the graphical improvements, the faces of the new gens, the way the match engine looks and feels. And to be honest, I think this year they've kind of nailed the match engine. I think it looks great. But I'm going to take you through my 5. Let me know it down in the comments if you agree with my 5 or if you disagree, or if you think that there's something that I've completely missed off the spectrum altogether. As I said, do let me know down in the comments below. But let's get into topic number 1. So guys, kicking things off, we are on the staff page. Now, if you've watched any one of my videos or series, you will know how important I find staff. I'm currently on my Pentagon Challenge save. We are at 𝘼𝙗𝙁𝙯. We are getting close to completing this historic Pentagon Challenge. You can check that series out down below. But basically, this is what I like having. I like having the best staff in the league. I like having the best recruitment. I like having the best medical. It goes without saying. But something that I think we really need is set piece coaches. Something specifically around set pieces. I know if you go on a staff member, let me just bring up Luciano Ospina here. As you can see, he's very good in a lot of areas. He's got great defending. He's got great mentals, tacticals, technicals. I think it's now time that we start to look at inviting a set piece coach into the fray, and I think part and parcel of that is seeing that in real life. Klopp had appointed a set piece, a throw-in specialist, I believe, a couple years back, and at the weekend we saw Aston Villa. If you watched the Premier League and when this video was recorded, Danny Ings scored a lovely scissor kick, which was all set up, designed by a set piece coach. I think set pieces are vital in football at the moment, and I'd like to see that transition into Football Manager as well. Obviously, the breakdown of lots of things, be it mental or coaching, I think it's just easy to just add a set piece one in there and let them hone your set pieces and work on set pieces. Everybody has their own set pieces, and I think FM Stinger brought up a very good issue around how you can sort of dictate what your set pieces are. But I'd like to have that dialogue between your set piece coach and you. They come to you and they go, "Oh, we're playing Manchester United at the weekend," or Man U, or whatever they're going to be called next year. We're playing them at the weekend. They have a frailty here. This sort of set piece that I have designed looks like it could be a goer. I love that sort of interaction with your staff members. I love getting those staff reports anyway. So just being able to see that from a set piece coach and then seeing that set piece work in the game would be absolutely fantastic. Let's move on to point number 2. For me, there's a glaring issue in Football Manager that real life football teams sort of adapt to pretty comfortably. Basically, that is having a formation in possession and a formation out of possession. I would love to see this sort of customizability. Is that a word? I don't know. I'd love to see that. Basically, as you can see here on the tactics screen, we've got the Clinical Chiefs tactic. It's the one I've been running for such a long portion of this Pentagon Challenge. And you can see it's a bog standard 4-2-3-1. Don't judge me. If it works, it works. But I've also got, obviously, lined up here, defense wins championships. And obviously, you can have up to your 3 slots that you want to sort of have in a match. I would love to sort of have, within these tactical styles, a sort of a way that your team works when you've got the ball. So if it is a 4-2-3-1, it sort of works in this formation when you've got the ball. And then when we don't have the ball, I'd like to see our team sort of readjust. So maybe in this instance, Abdullah would go to being the anchor man, Zaf would go to being the DLP, and Riviere would be my Mazzala when we don't have the ball. Sort of adaptive shapes depending on how we have the ball, or whether we have the ball or whether we don't have the ball. It's something I would love to see. Again, sort of offers that extra sort of tactical control that most teams have in real world football, especially if they play sort of a 3 at the back with wing backs. It can easily be a 5 when they're out of possession. It can easily be a 3 when they do have possession. That's the sort of thing I'm looking for from FM22. For me, this may be a selfish one, but I would love more playable leagues within Africa. At the moment, I know the team at SI do a fantastic job of making all of these nations have playable leagues, and it is fantastic. The options that you have in Europe, North America, South America are all fantastic. It covers a lot of the bases. However, I know it's all down to licensing, etc. But we have issues in Africa where the only playable nation, unless you download modifications, is South Africa. And I know there are some fantastic mods out there to get better leagues in the game. But as your bog standard database, this is all you can work with. And as someone who has sort of embarked on that Pentagon journey, having more playable leagues in Africa would be a godsend. You're not only just going to South Africa, then the likes of Egypt, Algeria, they all have good leagues that sort of compete for that Champions League title that you would need to win in a Pentagon challenge. And just kind of want a few more nations. It doesn't have to be loads. Obviously North America has 3, South America only has 6. Asia's got more, for instance. Just give me 2 or 3 more. That's all I'm asking, SI. Just a couple more playable leagues within the continent of Africa. So we are back on the Pentagon Challenge save for what I will call feature number 4 that I would like to see continue. Obviously, you can see in game we are in the year 2036. It is sort of advancing quite substantially. But if you look at my job history, you can see that I have had jobs in Central Espanol, which is Uruguay. I've worked in Guarani FC in Santos in Brazil. I've worked at the Kaiser Chiefs in the DStv Premiership in South Africa, Inter Miami in the USA, and obviously Shanghai Shenhua in the Chinese Super League before joining Hertha Berlin to hopefully complete this Pentagon Challenge. But as you can see, if you go back onto my scouting knowledge, obviously I'm English, so I have a full understanding of England, and I've worked in Germany. This is my 3rd year in Germany. I know all about Germany. I'm fine with this. However, there's no way in my scouting knowledge that I would forget certain things in certain countries. Obviously, the longer you go into the game, your knowledge will decrease if you're not in that area, and I completely understand that. But according to this, my scouting knowledge, bearing in mind I was in China 3 years ago, I have no knowledge of China. It's just evaporated. I'd love to see a little bit sort of linger on the profile and have that sort of knowledge, especially if you're going into a new club. It always helps, especially if you've worked somewhere super obscure. Obviously, you can see from the languages that I speak in game, definitely not in real life. I speak English, Spanish, Portuguese, German, Suesto. I always butcher that. Sorry South Africans out there. And I speak basic Chinese, but yet I don't have any knowledge of any of these countries in my scouting knowledge. It would help so much when trying to sign new players. I think it would just be a fantastic addition to just hold on to a little bit more of that scouting knowledge. Once you've been in a country for a small any period of time, if you've been there long enough, I think you should have a basic understanding, much like I understand basic Chinese. My 5th and final request would be more varied responses with the VAR system. Obviously this year, if you've played Football Manager at any length, you will know that if a goal goes in and you go to VAR to dispute whether it's offside or not, it is 100% of the time offside. I have put hours into this year's Football Manager, and I've not seen any other outcome. I'd like to see VAR have a little bit more flexibility and be used on a couple of different things in terms of red cards, sort of penalty decisions, seeing them, and also having that varied response. You don't want it to go, you've played it like 5, 10, 15 games of a new season, you know exactly how it's going to go. If the VAR signal comes up, then you know exactly what's going to happen. It sort of defeats the object and removes that element of suspense. I think the time it takes for the referee to get all the way to the VAR screen anyway is sort of a motion that could be improved in terms of how quick it's sort of displayed on the screen and that information. We do want to build suspense in games to get you more invested, but it is just such a frustration that it just is always the same outcome. I just want to see more varied outcomes, even if the game and VAR get it wrong. I know I'm going to regret saying this, but I would love to see that in FM, especially if, you know, sometimes your team robs a goal, it's actually offside on VAR, but they actually give it for you, how pleased you'd be. Obviously on the other side, it's how frustrated you'd be, but it's playing on your emotions and drawing you into the game. And it's that real immersion that I love and that I would love to see more of by having those varied responses in VAR. And the final one from me, I know I've already given you 5, but I'm going to give you an additional one that I would love to see. If you've watched any of my series so far, you will know that I use the amazing TCS skin in Football Manager. Not that I don't think the bog standard FM ones are exactly what I'm looking for. It's just the TCS skin offers so much more. If you want to figure out how to download the TCS skin, there's a video, a link down in the description. Takes you to the FM Scout website where you can download the TCS skin, and also there's a video from yours truly on there showing you how to do it and all that sort of stuff. But there's a feature which I use all the time, especially in this Pentagon challenge, for getting games done quicker. It takes a long time to get games done in normal time, so to keep things on ticking on with the schedule, I use this instant result button all the time. Now I know what you're going to say, Steve, if you're doing that, just play FM Touch, and I completely understand where you're coming from, but in certain elements you just kind of want to get things done a bit quicker, get the games done quicker. If you're like me, the transfers and the stuff is all what I love on Football Manager. I love that sort of interaction, trying to buy and sell players and improve your team that way. So I use the instant result button a lot. Let me know down in the comments if this is something that you use, if you use the TCS skin, or if it's something you'd like to see added in as a feature. I think I'd quite like it in terms of the main game sort of coded in like that. The TCS skin has the capability of doing that. I'd love to see that built in to the main Football Manager sequence and sort of how the skin looks and feels. So there are my 6 things that I'd love to see in FM22. As I mentioned at the start of the video, please do let me know down in the comments if you agree with what I've said, if you disagree with what I've said, or if there's any features that you personally would love to see in the game. Please do let me know down below. I'd love to have that interaction with you. I'll be in the comments as soon as this video goes live to sort of check on those things. But that's where I'm going to leave things for today, guys. If you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like on it down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here for daily Football Manager content. And if you want to see this game, the one that's on your screen right now, Real Madrid versus Hertha Berlin in the Champions League final to potentially clinch that Champions League, which will see me win and complete the Pentagon challenge on my channel, then you're not going to want to miss Friday's episode at 5 p.m. Until then, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you on another one very, very soon.